Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India extends aid to earthquake-hit Afghanistan that killed at least 20 people. Relief and rescue operations on. Prime Minister Modi opens a science and innovation conference in New Delhi. Says focus on ease of doing research to build a nation modern innovation ecosystem. And US Secretary of War Pete Hegseth travels to South Korea for talks, visits the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea. An earthquake killed at least 20 people in Afghanistan just months after another deadly tremor left the country reeling. According to the US Geological Survey, a 6.3 magnitude quake hit overnight at a depth of 28 kilometers with the epicenter near the city of Mazar-e-Sharif. More than 20 people were killed and 320 injured in the provinces of Balkh and Samangan. Balkh province's spokesperson said the parts of city's famed Blue Mosque were damaged. Rescue operations are underway to save people trapped under the rubble. Afghanistan is vulnerable to earthquakes because the country is located on two major active faults that have the potential to rupture and cause extensive damage. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar spoke to Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi of Afghanistan and condoled the loss of lives in the earthquake. The minister discussed progress in the bilateral relationship and welcomed the improving people-to-people contacts between India and Afghanistan. He also appreciated the exchange of views on the regional situation. The minister also informed that Indian relief material for the earthquake-impacted communities is being handed over today and further supplies of medicines will reach soon. President Draupadi Murmu addressed the Uttarakhand Legislative Assembly on the occasion of the completion of 25 years of the creation of the state of Uttarakhand. The President highlighted the advancement made by the state in the fields of tourism and education. Addressing the legislators, she said, development and public welfare are above politics. Uttarakhand's Chief Minister and the Leader of the Opposition were present on the occasion. President Murmu spoke about the state's achievement in the last 25 years, including in social development and women's empowerment.
मुझे ये जानकर प्रसन्नता हुई है कि राज्यों में साक्षरता बढ़ी, महिलाओं की शिक्षा में विस्तार हुआ है, मातृ एवं शिशु मृत्यु दर भी कमी आई है तथा स्वास्थ्य सेवाओं को सुलभ बनाने में प्रयास किए जा रहे हैं। महिला सशक्तिकरण की दिशा में किए जा रहे प्रयासों की मैं विशेष सराहना करती हूँ।
Vice President C.P. Radhakrishnan attended the Diamond Jubilee celebrations of the Fatima Mata National College at Kollam in the southern Indian state of Kerala as the chief guest on Monday. The event was attended by Kerala's Governor Rajendra Vishwanath Arlekar, Minister of State for Tourism and Petroleum and Natural Gas, and alumnus Suresh Gopi, State Finance Minister K.N. Balagopal, and Reverend Dr. Paul Anthony Mullasheri, Roman Catholic Bishop of Kollam. Dignitaries, faculty, students and parents were present on the occasion. Prime Minister Modi inaugurated the Emerging Science, Technology and Innovation Conference in New Delhi on Monday. Being held from 3rd to 5th November, the event brings together 3,000 participants from academia, industry and government, along with Nobel laureates. Deliberations focus on 11 thematic areas such as advanced material and manufacturing, artificial intelligence and blue economy. The Prime Minister released a vision document and a coffee table book on the occasion. In a major boost to research and development, the Prime Minister launched a 1 lakh crore rupee Research, Development and Innovation Fund. It aims to promote private sector-driven research and development ecosystem in the country. Addressing the gathering, the Prime Minister emphasized the need to understand the transformative power of science and technology and to ensure that they remain ethical and inclusive.
साथियों, ये बहुत जरूरी है कि हम साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी की ट्रांसफॉर्मेटिव पावर को समझें और साथ ही इन्हें एथिकल और इंक्लूसिव बनाएं। उदाहरण के लिए आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस को ही देखिए। आज रिटेल से लेकर लॉजिस्टिक तक, कस्टमर सर्विस से लेकर बच्चों के होमवर्क तक हर जगह एआई का इस्तेमाल हो रहा है। इसलिए हम भारत में भी एआई की शक्ति को समाज के हर वर्ग के लिए उपयोगी बना रहे हैं। इंडिया एआई मिशन में 10,000 करोड़ रुपए से अधिक का निवेश किया जा रहा है।
External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar met Bahrain's Foreign Minister Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani in New Delhi on Monday. The Bahraini minister is on a 2-day visit to India. The ministers co-chaired the 5th India-Bahrain Joint Commission meeting. Minister Jaishankar reiterated India's support for the Gaza peace plan and hoped that it will bring about lasting and durable solution.
We have also seen a steady growth of bilateral trade and investment between our countries. We welcome investors from Bahrain to come and explore investment opportunities in India. Conclusion of a bilateral investment treaty and the establishment of a joint working group on trade and investment will further boost our economic ties. We are working on various initiatives to strengthen our cooperation in the field of healthcare. Our space agencies are also making progress for deepening their collaboration. We have a vibrant cooperation in area of culture, strong people-to-people ties. Earlier this year, we launched the electronic visa system for Bahraini nationals. This, I hope, will encourage more visitors from Bahrain. I take the opportunity to reiterate our support for the Gaza peace plan, which we hope will lead to a lasting and durable solution.
For his part, Bahrain's foreign minister said that India continues to be one of Bahrain's primary trading partners, and both nations recognize that economic cooperation is essential for promoting peace.
Our rich historical ties extends back nearly 5,000 years, rooted in trade and cultural exchange between the ancient civilizations of Dilmun and the Indus Valley. Today, these economic links remain central to our relationship, which has flourished across various fields. India continues to be one of Bahrain's primary trading partners, and both our nations recognize that economic cooperation and interdependence are essential for promoting peace, stability, and shared prosperity.
A Center for Bay of Bengal Studies has been established in Shillong under a think tank called Asian Confluence to provide research and promote dialogue among stakeholders in the Bay of Bengal region. BIMSTEC Secretary General Indramani Pandey and former Minister of State for External Affairs Rajkumar Ranjan Singh inaugurated the center. DD India Sarang Pofle speaks exclusively to Ambassador Pandey.
Can BIMSTEC emerge for India an alternative for SAARC, especially because BIMSTEC has an advantage of connectivity to Indo-Pacific and also connectivity to Southeast Asian countries through Bay of Bengal and absence of a problematic member.
When it was conceived in 1997, it was conceived as an organization that will bring the two regions of Asia together, and that's the role it has taken forward by engaging in cooperation on a number of sectors on its agenda. by establishing institutions which can take forward that cooperation by negotiating agreements and conventions. When we look at Indo-Pacific, we are talking about a vast region. Then when we look at different geographical parts of Indo-Pacific, then we find that Bay of Bengal is almost at the center of Indo-Pacific. And as you mentioned at the beginning, it's very strategically important region for India and for the member states around Bay of Bengal. BIMSTEC signifies that there is a convergence in the interest of India and other 6 member states when it comes to enhancing security or taking forward the agenda of sustainable and resilient development. So BIMSTEC has a very important role to play because it's like a confluence of India's Act East policy, India's neighborhood first policy, India's approach to Indo-Pacific as signified in Sagar, and recently Honorable Prime Minister coined Mahasagar concept. So it's a confluence of all the 3 strands of India's foreign policy.
A 3-day international conference was organized for the welfare, social justice and empowerment of underprivileged groups and persons with disabilities. It focused on redefining capabilities for an inclusive and empowered life. The conference was inaugurated by Minister for Social Justice and Empowerment, Dr. Virendra Kumar. During the event, the minister said that under Prime Minister Modi's leadership, the government is continuously encouraging persons with disabilities.
दिव्यांगजनों के सशक्तिकरण के दृष्टि से ही इस कॉन्फ्रेंस का आयोजन किया गया है, जिसमें शिक्षा के साथ स्किल ट्रेनिंग, रोजगार, टेक्नोलॉजी, विविध क्षेत्रों में कैसे विभिन्न स्थानों पर जो प्रयास किए जा रहे हैं, कार्य किए जा रहे हैं, उन सब का विचारों का एक आदान प्रदान का ये सशक्त माध्यम होता है। आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के मन में दिव्यांगजनों के प्रति सदैव एक उनमें वो एक बात कहते हैं कि दिव्यांगजनों को सहानुभूति की आवश्यकता नहीं है, दिव्यांगजनों को प्रोत्साहन की आवश्यकता है, उनको उंगली पकड़कर थोड़ा सा आगे बढ़ाने की आवश्यकता है। वो स्वयं चल पड़ेंगे। आपके द्वारा किया गया थोड़ा सा प्रयास उनके जीवन में आगे बढ़ने का मार्ग प्रशस्त कर देता है।
And still to come on DD India Live. Tanzania's Samia Suluhu Hassan sworn in for a 2nd term as president. And Turkey leads push for Gaza peace with aim to advance US brokered truce. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. US President Trump alleged Sunday that countries including Russia and China have conducted underground nuclear tests unknown to the public and that the US will follow suit. In an interview to US TV channel CBS on Sunday, Trump said that the US should not be the only country that does not test, adding North Korea to the list of nations allegedly testing their nuclear arsenal. Confusion has surrounded Trump's order that the US begin testing, particularly if he meant conducting the country's first nuclear explosion since 1992. Meanwhile, China has denied testing nuclear weapons after US President Trump alleged that the country was among those to have conducted tests unknown to people.
As a permanent member of the UN Security Council and a responsible nuclear weapon state, China has always adhered to the path of peaceful development, pursued a policy of no first use of nuclear weapons, upheld a self-defense nuclear strategy, and abided by its commitment to suspend nuclear testing.
China on Monday responded to warnings by U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent that the U.S. could raise tariffs on China if it backtracks on rare earths. China's foreign ministry spokesperson said the top priority is for both China and the U.S. to earnestly implement the important consensus.
Regarding China's rare earth export control policy, China's competent authorities have repeatedly stated their position. I believe the outcome of the China-US economic and trade talks in Kuala Lumpur fully demonstrates that dialogue and cooperation are the correct way to solve the problem, and threats and pressure will not help solve the problem. At present, I believe that the top priority is for both China and the US to earnestly implement the important consensus reached by the two heads of state during their meeting in Busan to inject more stability into China-US economic and trade cooperation and into the world economy.
U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth on Monday toured the demilitarized zone bordering North Korea during his visit to South Korea. A military helicopter carrying him landed at a U.S. base near the Joint Security Area inside the demilitarized zone, where he boarded a tour bus accompanied by his South Korean counterpart. The U.S. and South Korea defense ministers are scheduled to hold an annual security consultative meeting on Tuesday, the highest level forum where the two countries chart the course of their military alliance and South Korea's defense against nuclear-armed North Korea. South Korea's defense ministry said they will discuss combined defense readiness against North Korea and cooperation on regional security, cyber and missile defense. Foreign ministers from several Muslim-majority countries met in Istanbul on Monday to discuss Gaza ceasefire as Hamas and Israel trade accusations of violations and talks continue on forming a force to monitor the truce. As per Turkish officials, the foreign ministers of Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Jordan, Pakistan and Indonesia joined the meeting to discuss the ceasefire and humanitarian situation in Gaza and to also discuss the next stage of Trump's ceasefire deal and the formation of the planned international stabilization force. U.S. President Trump has warned that the United States could deploy troops or carry out airstrikes in Nigeria to stop the alleged killing of large numbers of Christians in that country. President Trump said he had instructed the Defense Department to prepare for possible fast military action if Nigeria failed to crack down on the killings of Christians.
Could be. I mean, a lot of things I envisage, a lot of things. They're killing record numbers of Christians in Nigeria. And they have other countries very bad also. You know that part of the world, very bad. They're killing the Christians and killing them in very large numbers. We're not going to allow that to happen.
At a church service in Nigeria's Kaduna, Christian leaders expressed frustration with the government's handling of security but drew a line at foreign interference in the country's sovereignty. Christian leaders in Nigeria welcomed President Trump's threat to intervene over religious violence but cautioned against any attempt to dictate the country's leadership. Tanzania's Samia Suluhu Hassan has been sworn in as president with an internet blackout still holding after election protests in which the opposition alleges hundreds were killed by the security forces. Hassan, who according to the Tanzania Electoral Commission won 98% of the vote, took the oath in front of officials and foreign dignitaries on what appeared to be parade grounds in State House in the capital Dodoma rather than at a stadium as usual. And now take a look at what else is making news around the world. 47-year-old Nure Toshkurun has revived silk cocoon production in Turkey's Kahramanmaraş, turning her childhood dream into a thriving workshop. Supported by the local Chamber of Commerce, she crafts elegant accessories and trains young women, creating jobs and hope after the earthquake. Her workshop blends tradition with creativity using silk cocoons in nearly 100 unique designs. Researchers in Greece have found rising microplastic pollution in the Ionian and Aegean seas using mussels as natural detectors. These filter-feeding organisms absorb tiny plastic particles, mostly from single-use items. Though not yet harmful, microplastics were found in every species tested. Experts warn that without urgent action, marine life and human health could face growing risks from plastic waste breaking down in the ocean. A medieval tower under renovation near Rome's Colosseum partially collapsed twice on Monday, sending up clouds of dust. One worker was seriously injured while two others had minor injuries. Emergency crews rushed to rescue a person trapped under the rubble. The 13th century medieval tower, Torre de Conte, closed since 2006, was undergoing restoration. The area had already been sealed off to pedestrians because of the ongoing work. Nepal's President Ramchandra Paudel left for the state of Qatar on Monday to attend the second World Summit for Social Development. The summit is being held in Doha from 4th to 6th November. The first World Summit for Social Development was held in Copenhagen, Denmark in 1995. The summit is also expected to hold intensive discussions on development inequalities in the world, demographic imbalances and the impacts of technology on society. India clinched the Women's Cricket World Cup for the first time by beating South Africa by 52 runs at Navi Mumbai. A number of records were set in the tournament, and DD India's Suchitra takes a look at some of them.
India's score of 298 runs for 7 wickets is the second highest total in a final. India have become the 4th team to win the World Cup. Australia have won the title 7 times, England 4 times and New Zealand once. Deepti Sharma scored 58 runs and took 5 wickets in the World Cup final. She is the first player to achieve this feat in an ODI knockout match. Deepti Sharma is the second player to take 5 wickets in final. She is also the first player to score more than 200 runs and take more than 20 wickets in a World Cup. Shefali Verma is the youngest player to be named player of the match in the final at the age of 21 years and 278 days. South Africa captain Laura Wolvaardt has become the highest scorer in a World Cup with 571 runs.
2025 Women's World Cup will always be remembered for Deepti Sharma's all-round performance in the tournament and also South African skipper Laura's consecutive centuries in the semi-final and the final. All in all, this Women's World Cup will always be remembered as the most keenly contested World Cup and having an Asian team as the champion for the first time. With camera person Ashish Sharma, this is Suchitra reporting for DD India in Navi Mumbai.
To tennis now, Yannick Sinner reclaimed the #1 spot in the rankings after he clinched the Paris Masters for the first time. The 24-year-old beat Felix Auger-Aliassime 6-4, 7-6 in the final in Paris on Sunday. The Italian first claimed the #1 ranking in June last year and held it for 65 weeks until he lost the US Open title match to Carlos Alcaraz and the #1 spot in September. Reclaiming the top spot from his rival tasted even sweeter for Sinner after he went down in a remarkable 5-set final to Alcaraz at the French Open. Sinner has now won 5 titles this season, including the Australian Open and the Wimbledon. Before we close, Japan's Mie Prefecture is blossoming with a breathtaking sea of clouds. Early hikers at Suno Peak witnessed the rare dawn spectacle as white clouds flowed over the mountain basin, glowing with sunrise hues. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can get the latest news and updates on the DD India mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS platforms. You may wish to scan the QR code that's now on the screen to download it. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran from all of us here in New Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.